I'm Kyle Brooks, YieldPro Specialist with Harvest & Co-op here at Central Crops, and I'm with Glenn Longabaugh, a Winfield United Regional Agronomist. And so, Glenn, I've been getting a lot of questions with the challenges we had last fall about trying to manage our field conditions, our ruts we may have created, or working some stalks, doing some tillage with our lack of getting a fall herbicide application done.
Sure.
And so guys are wondering if they're going to work ground, what we need to do this spring as far as residuals and burn down, and how we can manage that process.
Yeah, that's a great question, Kyle. So obviously you can't stay clean if you don't start clean. And so the challenge would be if they're going to do clean tillage, they're going to do the entire field, then they can probably forego the burn down. But if they're just going to work the ruts and then make an application across the field, they want to make sure they do the tillage prior to putting those residuals and burn down on the ground, because they don't want to bury those residual products. They normally work well really close to the surface.
Okay, so what if a guy's only working part of the field? What would be your best recommendation there as far as the burn down and the residual? Do we need to split that up into two separate passes, or?
Yeah, I guess it would depend on the shape of the field, right, Kyle? Mm-hmm. So if you could split a field, or it's just one small area they're going to work, I would probably, burn down isn't that expensive. I would probably waste the burn down on those tilled acres and make an application on the entire field.
How about some options of looking at either layering residuals or moving those residuals into an early post application? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. When you think about tough to control weeds, right? Whether we talk about herbicide resistant weeds or just tough to control weeds, really it's not an art, it's a science. And everybody knows that we have to practice rotation, and that we need to use fully labeled rates, and that we need to use multiple effective modes of action. We need to have good timing, which really speaks to that post-application thing, right? It's tough to get the timing perfect, but if there's a cornerstone to controlling tough to control weeds, herbicide resistant weeds, it is overlapping residuals, right? And the reason for that, Kyle, is what residual herbicides do is they exploit the fact that weeds are vulnerable when they're really, really small, right? They exploit the fact that they're weenies when they're even the toughest weeds, like a tall water hemp or a palmer amaranth, those amaranthus species. It exploits the fact that they're really delicate when they're small, and that's what overlapping residuals do for us. And so, I guess it depends on the herbicide program. Harvestland and YieldPro has so many products at their disposal, and I'm sure that the local YieldPro reps can put a combination together that will give them effective weed control.
All right, well, I appreciate your time, Glenn.
No problem. Thanks, Kyle.